Hello everybody. In this video, I want to show you how to do a view application. It's going to be really quick, it's going to be really simple. We will be adding the Tailwind CSS just to have some kind of styling there to look a little bit better. But in reality, what I want to do is show you the reactivity of a Vue app. Vue.js is one of the three main frameworks that we have for construct application with JavaScript. We have Angular, we have React, and Vue.js. Vue.js is one of the, mentioned before, one of the big three. But I found Vue to be a little more simpler to understand at the beginning. So the learning curve is actually smaller. And I hope that you will enjoy it as much as I will enjoy it. So this is going to be a really simple video. We are not going to be using any build tools. And if you don't know what is that, don't worry, I will explain that in a later video. For now, we're just going to use the CDN version, and we're going to do some kind of quick inventory application. And that quick inventory application is just to add elements and remove it and remove that elements in there. So it's pretty much just like that. It's going to, but that will actually give you the process how to do whatever we need to do inside the view now. So let's get started. As you can see right now, I have the Vue.js website open, and I open it right now the version 3 of the website, of the website. You can see right there. And the idea here is to start learning how to use it. It's really simple. It's not going to be that complicated, but you will see that a lot of the elements of the process to use before in vanilla JavaScript is not going to be needed. Probably what we do today is not going to make that much sense, but it will get more sense when we have a development environment in the build tool later on. So let's continue. So Vue is a progressive JavaScript framework, and probably let me just do this a little bit bigger. There you go. And it's the marketing is approachable, versatile, and performant. That's really good. So let's actually get started. So go right here. And let's see how we can actually start. We're going to be using the CDN version. But before we proceed, I will recommend you to go and download the Vue DevTools. So depending using Chrome, Firefox, and we choose one of those. If you're using Brave or Microsoft Edge, you can use the Chrome version. In this case, I'm using Firefox, so just click on that. I already have installed it, so I don't need to do it, but just install it right there, it should be enough. So when it says you need to do a simple script tab, okay? Let me open a new one. Let me open Tailwind CSS. And to get started, let's look at the CDN. Oh, documentation. Let's try in the browser. Start building. Oh, sorry for that. Let's actually go through documentation. Oh, right here, installation. Sorry for that. And we are going to be looking at the CDN version. And this is the one. So let's use those. So let me set my browser to the right, have my terminal on the left, and let's go to my projects folder. I have several projects already there. So let me just create a new one. Let's go into their intro to Vue 3. And let's open our Visual Studio Code right here. Perfect. So before we continue, I recommend you to go to the pencil area and look for a section called vector, and we have the version right here showing two different versions. Look for the one for Pinewoo and install that version. That will allow us to use the browser in Visual Studio. Well, actually, we'll not be using this, but well, we're going to be using later. So just install it, keep it there, you can install it, don't worry. And then we just create a new file. I'm going to do index.html, and we're going to be a basic file. Call it inventory. Let's do a simple h1 tag called hello there. Let's open this in a live server. We already have that one right here. And let me just set this to the left. And on the right, let's really open it in my localhost 5500. There you go. My application is running the way that it's supposed to. Cool. So let's install Tailwind. We know that we need to go ahead. Let's put that actually after the title. And without the styling, you can apply it. Let me just make it a little bit bigger. That is working the way it's supposed to. Let's start showing how this actually works. So we have this. Let's create this div tag. And let's put, and this is going to be ID name, I don't know, or app. Let's put like a simple ID, and we have this. Let's say that I want to print my name here in JavaScript. So let's actually, just before the body ends, you can have a script tag here. You know what? Let's do. There's script. There you go. There you go. Main. But yes. And we create a new file. But yes. And we try it with a console. So open text element to get my console open. And we see the hello, that means that the JavaScript gets it off. Okay. So in order to get this, we can say, we can give it a name, we can give an ID. Let's actually do this one ID called title. And we could do something like const title equal document.get element by ID. Select that the ID is going to be title. Then we do const dot, so let's say, const text, const name. But let's put my name in there. Right, and then we can say something like title dot inner text equal name. Didn't like it, but it's showing like that. Oh, probably I cannot use. Okay, go. And that will pretty much give me a name in there, so we were able to check. But we have several elements we needed to do the element ID, something like that. If we change that variable, we need to refresh it, and we have that because live service gave us that functionality. But in reality, when the text changes over time, and we need to premo select it again, and we do the inner HTML, and we need to do visibility several places. What happens is we want to display the name in several places. Well, you need to tag all those elements, and then you need to update those elements, and then right there where they're and it get a little bit difficult. So in this case, I want to use Vue.js and show you a little bit how we can actually. So let me just select everything, move everything, perfect. Let's import our Vue.js to the CDN, and let's put this just before the main JavaScript file. And we're using the next version in this case. And let's do, we can do something really simple. Icons, my application. It's going to be equal. Going to be an object. This object is going to be, will have a data element. The data element is going to be a function that will pretty much return something, and it's going to return, it's called the title, and this title is going to, perfect. Let's keep it like that, right? And then with Vue, we need to mount that function somewhere. We can use Vue. We can actually use it because it's already imported through the CDN, and I will show you that. Oh, sorry. So it's already imported through here. We can actually use Vue.create element, and we're going to pass our application, and we need to mount the application somewhere, and we need to specify something that is going to be required right here. So I want to mount my Vue application in a specific place. So in this case, I want to mount it right here in an idea. So I will say mount my application, my object application, in my ID. We use the CSS selector application. So now we can do something like interpolate a variable. Let's call this title. Because we got the title there and we mount the application, that application should be mounted and should be not doing it because something, oh, it's not create element, sorry for that, just Vue create. Okay, let's go to the introduction, sorry for that, and let's say something like create app. So we saw, okay, we have a typo. So we were able to extrapolate a variable and then send it through there. What's cool about that is we can actually have another element. We have the title here. That title is going to be rendered. And let's have some classes. Let's do text to Excel. Right, and let's keep it like this, and let's do another span element. I'm just creating random elements here. Let's insert the title, and it's going to be class equal text small. Let's do extra small. Of course, those classes came from Tailwind directly. Extra small probably, so we can see the different spacing. Yes, let's do this one text to 800. This one, let's do it text between, I don't know, 500 probably. And let's keep this one as well. Let's keep it black. Let's keep it the way that it is. So we are injecting that variable in 3 different places. So that means if my variable changes over time because of any reason, because I'm referring that variable directly in that element, it just gets updated right away, doesn't matter where. So at the beginning it looks a little more code, but what we're doing here actually is we are refreshing that information in a better manner. So we can actually have, let's do something simple as counter 0. We can say, let's remove this from here. Let's put the tag, my title, and let's actually put the counter. This counter in our case, that's important. Very well. Let's actually add a couple of buttons. It's going to be a plus button and a less button. So those 2 buttons, let's actually add some kind of classes. Let's add padding y2, padding x4, the background, I don't know, let's do something of green. Okay, and let's do button rounded. Probably need to type rounded. Rounded. There you go. Perfect. And on the second one, just to be fast, let's add a margin left of 4. So with that little separation right there. Perfect. Oh, so what I want to do, one more thing, and manipulate that. Let's put text white. I want to add this, clicking this button, and be moving the counter. So remember, or try to imagine that in JavaScript, like function, like to get the element updated, then send the element to be printed every time it's going to be clicked, something like that. But the reactivity that you actually gave us, you allowed us to have that really in a really quick matter. So let's just do, sorry, let's do one more thing here. When this is cover, to do background green 800. So okay, we know that they're going to be pushed right there. Something that actually will help us is to handle events, and those events, when it can be interactive. When do the first button, we can do when a click event happens. It's pretty much like a beyond. If you just use the beyond in a click, so we can actually do something in a click. We're going to add, but we have our variation. That B can be actually be changed to an add. It helps us. We say that event click is going to be handled and it's going to execute the add function or the add method. And the other button we're going to have, we make this true. Click. I want to press. Save those. And we can do in that element, just right away with data, we can actually do methods. And on that method, we need to have a couple of methods to implement. It should be right. So we have the add method. And the add method what to do is, I believe we can do something like this. This dot counter plus, And no, this is not the way to explain it. The add method will be function. This function is going to be an anonymous one. That'll pretty much be doing something like that. Let me just verify how the methods actually. Oh, I'm specifying the method the whole wrong way. I'm really just about the snippet, and I will show you how to use a snippet. So, are really cool to do fast things, really bad to remember how things need to happen. So this is the way. So we do a method, it's an object. That method will have a function called add, that's pretty much this counter.add. And let's call another method called rest. What we're going to be doing is that counter. And just with those, we can actually just start adding and removing. And that's a pretty neat section here. Because we're calling the method directly, we are just changing the variable. And that variable, because it's getting injected right here, so when it changes over time, it automatically change the element there. Even if we do another element with that counter, like this one, and it's using the same variable, it's going to be updated in both sizes, both places. So that's one of the works that Vue.js helps us to do. And that's the really cool, tricky part. And that's sometimes I really like it. So we can have that functionality to be working the way that we need it. So in order to create a simple inventory, a simply CRUD application, let's start working in our application. So let's have the title of inventory app. And let's do products. Our product is going to be an object. Actually going to be an array. And let's have an ID of 0, for example, with the name of, an apple. And let's do quantity 3, for example. Let's do another product called ID of 1. Let's do an orange. That's how we have 5. Let me just get rid of this button from here. A counter, we don't need anymore. In our application, let me just add. You know what? Let me just add here my class background gray 200. That little gray area right there. Let's start adding elements here. So we can start. Let's actually do a div element, and in this, I'm going to put all the products right here. Let's actually put a fake product. So let's do that. We want to have something like, let's do an UL. There is a list here, and we do one. Let's do another list. There you go. Let's see if those actually are our products. So this one have, I don't know, 1 element. This one has 2. And we can do the class. So I don't know. Let's do background white. Okay, let's do width 10/12 probably. Okay, that works. Marking X auto. So it's going to be center. Margin of, let's do a margin of 4. That's going to create it. Probably let's reduce it to 2. Yeah, I like it. Do a padding y of 2, padding x of 2, so those would be bigger. Boom. Let's do text gray. Probably we can do a 700. It's not going to be that. No, to 100, 900. Yeah, 900. Just not to be that really black, so a little bit lighter. We can have that. Let's do it to be rounded. And let's add a shadow those elements. Oh, I like it. So actually get handled. So we have the quantity on the left and the name on the right. So after we have the layout that we want to use, we need to represent that layout and how to use it in Vue.js. So let me just delete the second one. Let's keep that one. And Vue.js have a way to iterate and something. We can do a loop inside here. Something really cool that we can actually use and use a before. We do a before with a specific element and we say like a product in products. Which is actually put it twice because we have 2 different products in there. And now that we have a before, that means that we can get the specific element of every one of those products that we have right here. So we have access to this one and this one. So we can do the product.name, product.quantity. So we can interpolate those right here. I want to put the quantity first, so we do product.quantity 3 and 5, and here dash, and we send the product.name. Cool. So without that, it's actually really easy to iterate through those elements. That means if I create a tier product in there, and just because the elements have more in there without doing anything else, let's do ID of 2. Let's do this more, and let's call this, I don't know, tortilla. Just to save it, you can render it, it gets onto that, and then add the next tortilla right there, the way that it's supposed to. Bring it. So it's actually working really fine. Now let's add some kind of root elements in there. Let's, after the product name, it's at the bottom. It's going to be a plus. Let's start in that little class in there. Class background green 500. And we can do margin left. I don't know, something really big. Let's do like 10. Oops. A way to get more. Margin left, I don't know, 10 probably. Yeah, just to have that kind of separation. I don't know, it's not optimized, but it's working, right? Let's do a padding X of 4. Let's do a white. And let's do rounded. Probably. Of course, when you do the hover state, it's going to be a green 700. At that hover stage. So what I want to do when I click this button, so we're going to do a click element, something really simple. We can just do product.quantity increase. I mean, if I click this, it's increasing the quantity of the apples, without affecting the other elements. And this for the tortillas. So we can add elements in there. Let's actually remove those. So let's copy my button, paste it again. Let's do a minus here, and instead of doing a margin left of 10, let's do a margin left of 2. And let's change this green to red. And instead of be adding, I'm going to be removing the quantity. Need to be really careful with those, with the auto completion that it's doing, to have the correct opening and closing elements there. So we can add orange, we can remove orange. Add tortillas, add apples, remove those. In a really simple way. So can you imagine how many things do you need to add in JavaScript to make this enable? Actually, it's really cool because you don't even touching our JavaScript anymore. Just with those methods, the interactivity, because we're injecting those variables there, are already there. So we don't need to handle any more those changes. I want to show something extra. As you can see, we go below 0. We have a negative inventory. I don't want to have a negative inventory, but we can handle that with view, and we can have some kind of validation. So we can do that this button, just show it if product of quantity is bigger than 0. That means when the orange get 0, for example, the button disappear. You can remove more. Got it? So we are now removing elements with a simple line of code for validation. Be sure is another thing that I actually do. We can do something extra here, probably. Just before the button, let's actually do a span element. Let's put actually out of stock. Some kind of like an alert. I want this to be as text extra small. Text. I believe we can use bold here or is font size. I don't remember that. Let's look for bold on bold. Okay. And let me look for my citing text. The smaller one. Yes, it is the smaller one. So let's keep it like that. Stock, and let's just do a text red 800. Yeah. Cool. The same way that we did this, we can actually use another element similar. This is going to be called the if element. So we can actually do an if side. We can do if product dot quantity is equal 0. So with all of them there, and it just will trigger the alert. We can see that right there when the element is just 0. That's pretty nice. So the if statement actually helps us to do that. So let's actually do this to be up, or we can do something like this. Or we can do that right here. So the alert is going to be at the beginning. Wait, I'm messing something. Please return everything where it's supposed to be. Okay, yes. What I want to do is this span element, build before the product name. Something is messing up here. Let's create another two spans. And this one is going to be a product quantity. I'm doing sorry for that. It looks like I don't know how to type today. So let me do my span here. Okay. And let's grab everything here in a arrow graph probably. Oh, we can skip the paragraph, we don't need that. We have that span. Let's grab this one in another span. Or we can keep it something like that, probably. Unless this one that actually finished here, just put it one step up. Okay, if I get to 0, it's out of stock. So what I want to do is, because this if element with the quantity are two span elements at the same level, we can use the else. That means that if we have a number there, but when the 0, instead of showing a 0, showing that message out of stock, because we have the be if element and the be else element, so two other elements that we can actually be adding, having here, and a really good interactivity here. I actually like it. And just to finish, and I don't know if this one work, let's do an input element like text. Let's do a class of what we can do there, rounded. Yeah, let's add the same padding that we have here. A padding y of 2 and padding x of 2. We don't have the same padding. Probably we can do a padding all of 2. Actually, padding is just padding of 2, so both of them. Let's add a placeholder equal new product. There you go. And let's add this class to be 10/12 M size. Let's add in a margin X of auto. So it's going to be center. Probably not. Didn't like it to be centered. There's the parent size. Let's do this one as of flex. Okay, we can do this as flex column. Everything is centered. Perfect. Now input one, let me just do a margin top of 4. Separate that. Okay, so I want to type a new product. Click enter, and that product to be right here where it's supposed to be. So let's actually do that. So for that, we need to type that element to a new variable. So let's actually call the new, and it's going to be an empty string by default. That new element is going to be the model of this the model equal new. I mean, it's a two-way binding. What I'm saying with that, didn't like it. The B model didn't like it. The blank on errors. Let me move myself to the other side. About using JavaScript keyword property name new. Oh, it makes sense. It's a new is a reserved word for JavaScript. So let's actually put new product there, and we can actually bind that to new product. When we're doing the binding, but I didn't like it now. So I just refresh it. Okay. What is that binding actually does? It did have something here. Because we have the binding, the content is going to be right there. But at the same time, and I need to show you this outside this. So let's do some paragraph here. Let's actually put the new product. Now we have something. We change that here directly in our application. Something. Now we're updating the value from the website to the JavaScript. And we get that reactivity being centered right there. So this is the B model work like two-way binding. So we can actually change the value inside the web app specific. And here we're just rendering. So we can see that whatever we put, it will render right there. So pretty neat. So what I want to do is just put something, click enter, and be added as a new product. Let's actually do that. We need to empty this out. Let me just, because of the sizing, let me just remove the tortilla from there. Boom. And let's actually remove this one from here. We don't need to show that. I want to do when I click enter. And I wanted that to change, and because enter is when the value changes, so we can actually do a change to fire something. Let's actually do add product. Let's call it that. Let's create a new method. Oh, we already have the method add. Let's just remove it. Actually, I don't know what I'm saying. Let's add product. Let's add a new method called add product. And let's just make a simple console.log this dot the product. Let's see if this actually works. If I do something, hit enter, that something get typed right there. Perfect. You see that actually get changed. That means when I hit enter, we are changing the value of the input box, and we're triggering the change event. It's different from the click event at the bottom. So pretty neat. It's doing what it's supposed to. So when we add a product, the first step that we need to do is verify that this dot product is dot new product dot length, and I don't know how to pronounce length, so for that is bigger than 0. We're going to do something about it. Let's do an if statement. It's a kind of simple validation. So if this actually happens, we do something. So let's actually do this right here. we will put something like sum, click enter. So, and length should be with an N. Yeah. Just put sum there, enter. But if I click and you hit enter right here with anything, it's not recording. So perfect. We have the validation for the sizing. So when the length is bigger than 0, so let's do something really simple. This product push, and we're going to push an element there and put an ID of a random number, and let's actually write that random number later. And the name is going to be this.new product. And by default, the quantity will be 0. Right? And I believe we can use new date, probably is the string, probably something like that. I don't know. I just put like a random number in there as an ID. So if I create whatever gets added out of stock, and then I can start adding whatever. Oh, one last thing. I need to delete this from here. So I will start add the new product after I push it. This is the new product that the bounded to be initialized to 0. So let's wait it and let's do whatever again. I'll restore by default and we just add elements to that. How cool is this? Right? Pretty neat. So we always have a CRUD application. Well, we are not removing, but let's keep it like that. We have a really simple application, but we can actually add a new element that get added to the list, and then after added that element to the list, you can actually start messing around with the context from here. Your activity goes a little bit beyond that, and I want to show that too. So let me just get back here. So let's put that title. Where is the title? Right here. Let's put text center. Okay, a lot better. And after that, let's do an h3 from inventory, and we need to add something here. And of course, this needs to hold this asset right there. So let's just change text Excel probably. And let's change to 900. Yeah, I like that. Actually, I like 900 a lot more. Let's put this to 900 too. Let's do it smaller. Total inventory. We will have a random number. No random number. What I want to do is pretty much add all these numbers and have it right there. Let's put it there. Total inventory here. Oh, so let's actually do that and let's calculate our total. There's another property that we can use. We use methods. We can actually do another one called computed. Before I mess up, let's actually look for that here. Computer properties. It's just a simple one with some kind of function that returns something. So the computed element is really similar as the method, with the difference that the computed is returning a specific value. So let's actually get that. So let's do get computed. It's going to be an object. After that should be a comma method. And let's add total function. This function is going to calculate all the quantities that we have. So let's actually do that. So let's return. Let's do 5. We'll return a 5 or total. Here, of course, we need to add that L. It's just 5. If we add 5 plus 2, it's going to be 7. It's a simple mathematical function. And we are tidying that right here, the variable total. But in reality, it's a computed element. So now what I want to do, reduce, probably it should work. So this dot product reduce into variable, let's say total, probably zoom. I don't remember how to do reduce. This is embarrassing. Array reduce. The accumulator, the current value, and just adding those right there. Okay, to work. So what we need to set here is probably this is a function. So reduce, we're going to be sending 2 elements, going to be zoom. And I do an array and the accumulator, and we have the current value. Okay, perfect. So we need to add the zoom. That's going to be the accumulator. The current value will be the product dot quantity, and we should be returning some plus this, maybe. I don't know. Did like it like that? No, I didn't like it. Let's do probably a little more complex one. For an index array. Didn't like it. Why didn't like it? Like that there. Let's try to find out how to do a reduce. I don't want to do a for each and make it longer. Probably it's going to be faster at this moment. But whatever. X, here we go. We have x1, x2, and current value, and return accumulator, and current value x. Oh, perfect. So we need to zoom, and we send the product, very much. And after we send the product, we are going to send sum. We're going to return the sum plus the product dot quantity. Yeah. Object on object. I didn't like it. Then you give it a 5. Let's give object 5. Let's do that console. That log. See what's actually happening. All this. As expected. Go to the console. Object 5. Interesting. Wait. Closing it properly. table. Why is returning an object? Sorry for this taking longer than it's supposed to, but I need to get this done. Oh, initial value. Of course. So after we got that, I'm going to be here. My initial value is going to be 0. Oh, is that product? Okay, let's do. Okay, let's do the long, the old ugly one. Sorry. Let total sum equal 0, and then products. These products for each in the product here. Every product going to be sended, and we are going to be doing something about that, and we'll doing is sum plus equal product dot quantity. Then we do return. Oh, there you go. Okay, yeah, probably should be doing this first place. I want to be fancy with the reduce and I didn't remember. I will get that in the next time. So we have 3 elements, 3 apples, 5 orange, in total 8, right? Press this, it's going to be increased here, but we have a computed more complex value. It's going to be updated right there. We can see that it's actually working the way that it's supposed to. Even if we add a new one, let me move away, that one, that get updated and get in the inventory. So we have total inventory here. As you can see, it's a really good way, a really fast way how to handle application. So hope actually you like it. And any question, any doubt, don't hesitate to reach me. Happy coding, everybody.